Hey, welcome one and all to the Real View Show. Real views from real people or real person. My name is Myles the Rhetorical. I'm usually a singer-songwriter, but due to the pandemic, a lot of my gigs have been cancelled. But I love movies, I love film, I love TV, I love music. So I've decided I'll become a reviewer, I guess, sort of. Anyway, this is my first shot at a podcast. For those of you who have not been following it all on Instagram/Facebook, I've just started reviewing stuff, so people seem to like it so far. So I thought, hey, let's give it a podcast go, kind of thing. Okay, so we got a few things to talk about today. We're talking about the Coming to America 2 trailer, children's animated film called Zarafa, which is currently on Netflix, and also Disney Pixar's newest movie, Soul, came out, which has also been featured on my blacklist, which basically is a list of movies and TV that feature black people either behind or in front of the camera, kind of following off the tragic murder of George Floyd, just trying to show black folks in all kinds of different lights, not just the stereotypical and racist ones. But so Soul was featured on that list, and it's finally dropped on Christmas Day. And if you haven't seen it, have a look if you can. It's a pretty good movie, but we'll get into that later. So we'll be talking about those three. Okay, so before Wakanda, there was a place called Zamunda. So who's seen the Coming to America 2 trailer? What are your thoughts? What do you think? You liking what you see? Well, for me, first off, I gotta say, although I don't like how powerful Amazon is getting, like almost next level, like super villain powerful, everyone ordering online and all that stuff. However, because it's a Prime Video movie, that means I've got access to it because people in my family have Amazon Prime. Yeah, that's right. I'm piggybacking off accounts. I have it at the moment, but only temporarily, free trial and all that. But anyway, failing a very unlikely company collapse or the uncertainty of the current cinema industry, probably won't be open nationwide for quite a while. I'm quite glad I got access to this, so, there's that. Now, a lot of people were worried about this one, including myself. There's a lot of reboots that have gone wrong. There's a lot of sequels that always been in the works, but then kind of projected far ahead because of whatever. And it's just like, but it's a classic. Do you really want to touch that one again? And I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to see that. Just leave it be kind of thing. But you know what? This trailer actually looks alright. This looks pretty decent. There's a few laughs. It looks like almost all of the original casts have returned. Most of the original cast, if not all. And you know what? I'm here for it. Why not? It looks like it's going to be pretty good. Like I say, the original cast have returned, and I tell you what, it looks like they're using their black don't crack powers. Really, a lot of them. I mean, they look basically the same. More or less. You can see they've aged, but they've aged well, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, that cocoa bar really does work. So yeah, I'm feeling that. Also, if you've seen Dolomite Is My Name, that's currently on Netflix. That stars Eddie Murphy, sort of doing a kind of biopic as Dolomite, the comedian. Yeah, man, he's got it, man. He's still killing it. To me, he's one of the comedic goats, greatest of all time. He's still killing it in the game, and I think he's still got it. I think he can hold this down. I think this will be a good one, if I'm honest. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It looks good. The budget's obviously there. Like I say, it's on Prime Video, so it's quite accessible. Me, I'm all for it. So I'm looking forward to this one. Hopefully, it lives up to the trailer and doesn't spoil the classic that is the original. So, we'll see how that goes. Okay, stop the show or pause the show for a second. I just realized I haven't given you any information on how the Myles Reviews or how the Real View Show rating system works. So basically, when I review stuff, I do it in 3 categories. So there's That's Not It, which is basically the movie's not for me. I don't really like it. So that's a score of 1 to 4 out of 10. And then there's This Sandwich is Filling but Not Satisfying. And that's basically where a movie is okay. I could take it or leave it. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but still enjoyable. 4 to 7 out of 10. And then finally, there's Just Tap It Straight to My Veins. This is where a movie's blown me away or really enjoyed it. And that's 7 to 10 out of 10. Now, people ask why there's a lot of crossover, obviously, in the points. It's just the way I do it because I found that my rating out of 10 was too similar sometimes, or that I might give like a 7 to a movie that didn't necessarily blow me away, but I still liked it. I kind of just, made that halfway point. It's just easier for me because a lot of my ratings were very similar. And it's very rare that I would find a movie that I absolutely hated. So a lot of them were sort of getting the high numbers. I'm just like, actually, not every movie's that great. Maybe I'm just too generous. So that's why this sort of zoning system is done. And that's the rating system. Also, I will try and do some time codes in the description just so you guys don't have to listen to me rambling like about something that you've never watched or whatever. Or if you're just more interested in one particular review and we want to just jump ahead to that, then that's cool as well. So just look out for time codes in the description, hopefully. Anyway, on with the show. Alright, so in this we're going to talk about a film called Zarafa, made in 2012 or released in 2012. So why am I talking about this film? I'm a dad, as some of you may know. I've got a little 3-year-old called Luther King. He's a great big bundle of joy, and often I'm just looking for, other than looking for doing stuff with him and getting worn out and pulverized and jumped on and all that kind of stuff, occasionally we watch movies together. This happened to be one of them. So on Netflix, they're interesting. There was a little black kid with a giraffe. I was like, hey, my son's a little black kid. Representation and all that. Didn't know exactly what it was about, not going to lie. So kind of jumped in unknowingly there. Wish I did a bit more research. But, I'm glad we went through it all the same. So what's this all about then, Governor? So it's set in 19th century North Africa. Mackie, voiced by Max Renardian. This is a French-Belgian film, so if I get accents or names wrong, just know I don't mean to, and I'm sorry in advance. But it's voiced in English, this version anyway. So set in 19th century North Africa, Mackie, voiced by Max Renardian, has been captured by a slave, Marino, voiced by Scott Rayrow, but manages to escape and finds a friend in Zarafa, a recently orphaned giraffe calf. The two embark on an adventure that takes them to distant lands. Directed by Pete Remy Besancon and Jean-Christophe Lee, written by Alexander Abella and Remy Besancon. Wait, okay, hopefully I didn't make too much of a long neck out of that. I tried to cut it in half. Alright, that's enough of that. Anyway, my rating, it is a beautiful, wonderful adventure. International. You get to see a lot of people represented in different ways, which is great. Tap it straight to my veins. Yeah, I liked it. It's a good film. On this one, we also got Luther King's rating. So his current rating is, this sandwich is filling but not satisfying. Also, can I have a sandwich and maybe watch Paw Patrol? But in fairness to Luther, when he was focused, he was genuinely into it. So for the film that it was kind of deep at times, but there was a lot going on that kept him engaged enough, I guess. He was all right with it. Rewatchability factor for me, yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful film. It's definitely worth revisiting. I loved it. It was really heartfelt, and just, it was also nice to see a movie like that. I guess what I'm saying is a lot of kids' movies these days are a bit more surface level. This one was a bit more deep. And I mean kids' movies aimed at kids or whatever. Not necessarily your Pixar's, where it's a bit deep anyway. That's kind of what I feel. For context, this review is for the English language release of the film, not any other version, because I'm not that fluent. We're going to jump into spoilers. Let's do it. Right, so favourite scene, I can't recollect what my favourite was, but there were a lot of good stuff. I did like the stuff with the Greek pirates, actually, and Bubelina, played by Cindy something. Cindy, I'm just looking it up. I will look it up. I'm going to find it right now. Cindy, I should have done this before. I know. I can just edit this out. Or maybe I'll keep it in. I don't care. Whatever. Cindy Robinson, apparently, she voiced the English version of Bubelina. And I just like the name Bubelina, it's funny. But no, that stuff with the pirates was pretty fun. That was cool. Favourite character, gotta be Mackie. I mean, he's the hero of the film, and it's just a little guy, little kid just trying to keep promise, trying to keep promise to a giraffe. Sounds strange, but it worked. Also gotta give a shout out to Hassan, who was voiced by Simon Abkarin. Simon Abkarin. Yeah, so he was basically the Arabic guy who saved Mackie multiple times, formed a good friendship, and sort of became his reluctant hero in a sense, and played really well, I think. My favourite quote of the movie has to be when Zavara, yeah, that's right, a giraffe ended up talking. What? It went that kind of movie and then it became that movie. But basically, Zavara said, "Go back to our land, our country. You will build a house. Start a family, and when that family grows, your house will become a village. Do you understand?" And basically, that kind of follows through to the end of the movie. You see, we're in spoilers now, so if you haven't turned off by now and you wanted to see this, that's your business. Mackie is basically the narrator of the movie. You find out he's the storyteller. Yeah, he's telling the story to his now village, so it's big. Also, I liked when Hassan said, "If you lose your way, ask the sky." So basically, Hassan's like a traveler sort of. So I don't really know what his role was. But basically, he was the one who was tasked with finding a giraffe to gift to the French so that they would help them in some kind of war. I'm not really sure. I wasn't that clear on it. But don't get me wrong. It's a good movie. I was concentrating kind of. But yeah. So he basically traveled by the stars, which was cool. Okay, so we got a few notes here. Just gonna go through. I hope this is interesting, guys. I'm just trying to think, Let me know how to get better or whatever, or what you like or you don't like. I'll still post written reviews and that from time to time, just in case you guys prefer the way it was. But yeah, do let me know what you prefer. Anyway, so jumping into some of the notes now. This movie is very visually appealing. It's nice to see this kind of animation executed like this again. Like that kind of 2D illustrated stuff. And I could tell it was layered with some computer effects and some literal layering, so it looked like it had depth. But it was just nice to see that, these were the kind of movies I grew up with, rather than, before your Toy Stories and that, and computer animation took over like everything, even like kids shows. Like, I'm looking at you, Paw Patrol. I'm looking at you, Octonauts. All them ones there. They used to be just 2D cartoons. Yeah, this is really beautiful. So cool way for the movie. I'm like looking at Marino, the slaver, the guy who caught Mac, and I'm just like, I hope he gets his. And then towards the end, I was like, oh damn, yeah, he did. He really did. And it's a kids movie about my man. He got murked. Basically, he's gone, finished. I love how like international this film was, and how we get to see a lot of cultures from a different perspective. So like I was saying, like your Bubalina, the pirate queen, I guess you wouldn't even think of a Greek woman like that back in the day, maybe. And even Hassan, like seeing the side of his softness and all that kind of thing. And, you just got a lot of quirky different characters in there. It's really cool, represented different ways, quite vast globally, which is cool. I loved how, in a lot of movies like this, where it's a long kind of adventure type thing or a long quest, you have like a montage, because it's just easier to tell the story in a quick, short way. Montage. Everybody loves a montage. You know what I'm talking about. But this one, interestingly enough, the montage was done through sketches, like in their journey to Paris. It was just sort of done as if like they were sketches from a diary, and they just set it to music and just kind of place the sketches down one after the other. And I was like, hey, that's a cool way to tell the story. You got the story told, and I'm visually engaged and all that kind of thing. So that's cool. That's it. Okay, now for a bit of trivia. Now, this isn't a long segment of this review, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't do much research. This is the only thing I found. So, according to Wikipedia, this film was actually based on one of the giraffes gifted to European rulers in 1827. Zarafa was one of the first giraffes to live in the Jardin des Plantes, which I'm guessing is Garden of the Plants or something like that, in Paris. That was the zoo, I think, that they had there. So, yeah, that's according to Wikipedia. If you want to know more, find it out. But that was Zarafa, my rating. Tap it straight to my veins. It's a really beautiful film. If you do get a chance, check it out. It's currently on Netflix at the moment, so enjoy that. Okay, so next we're on to a big one. This is Soul. Obviously, like I said, this one was on my blacklist. I've been looking forward to this one for time, because basically Disney Pixar ain't never done, or have never done, a black-led movie. A movie with a person of colour that is black as the lead. So, yeah, I was very excited for this one, for that alone. And also, it looked good. It's about music. Jamie Foxx is in it. Love Jamie Foxx. Super talented guy. So, yeah, I was all for it. So, what's this all about then, Governor? So, musician Joe Jamie Foxx is in a bit of a slump, but finally gets his big break, and then he loses his life. After his soul departs, he teams up with Soul 22, Tina Fey, to get his soul back to his body and play the biggest gig of his life. Directed and written by Pete Docter and Kemp Powers, and written with Mike Jones. So my rating, this is another emotionally wrecking triumph from Disney Pixar, delving into the deep themes surrounding the meaning of life. Tap it straight to my veins. This was a good movie. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the way that you explored the concepts and all that, so it's really good. Rewatchability factor, 100%. There's so much to it, and it's so beautifully done. Also, I'm pretty sure I missed some stuff while my wife and I were consoling each other because, like I say, it's emotionally wrecking. There's a lot going on in this movie. Don't get me wrong, it didn't break me, but I was getting close at times. You know, it was, it's a lot. But saying that, you can watch it with your kids. My only problem was we decided to not watch it with our kids straight away because we knew we'd be going through a lot from this movie, you know. I expected that from what I had heard, so that's why I decided, let's just watch it as adults. Okay, now we're going to get right into spoilers. And because this is such a new movie, I'm going to give you a moment. Okay, moment's gone. Right, we're into spoilers. So, my favourite scene from this movie was Joe talking truthfully with his mum. His mum called Libba, played by Felicia Rashad. I'm loving the cast in this all my days. So, talking truthfully with his mum via 22. Yeah, man, that scene was just like, it was nice to, because all the way through the movie, Joe is kind of like really in himself, you know what I mean? And it was nice to finally see him flesh out some of his issues rather than just, I don't know, he's just really sort of focused on this one gig thing. And yeah, man, that was kind of big. It was nice. And also, you know, as in life, you kind of think like, wow, you know, in that relationship, maybe I should have, or maybe I should. It just made you reflect, made you think. It was deep, man. It was a lot. I also loved the scene in the barbershop where he was finally listening to the bar. I can't remember the barber's name. Was it Duvon or something? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it was a cool scene, man. Like, and also it really caught that barbershop vibe, you know. 22 was just the way she was just like so sort of like freely inquisitive, you know. I wish we could all just speak our thoughts like that. Sometimes. Some people do, and it's not always great. Talking about you, Trump. Sorry, didn't want to get political, but just is what it is, man. What a year it's been. Anyway, my favorite character was 22, played by Tina Fey. Really cool character, really interesting concept, and executed really well. You know, Tina Fey did a great job on the voice acting, as did all the cast. But you know, that character really stood out to me, and yeah, loved it. My favorite quote, there were a few, to be honest. There's a few like, and there's a few that are just like, yeah, you know, that's quite funny. Okay, so Counselor Jerry, the one played by Alice Braga, she goes to Joe, so what are you going to do with your life? Joe goes, I don't know, but I'm going to live every moment. Whoa, come on now. Life lessons going on there. Live every moment, you know what I mean? That's real, it's big, and, you know, this year has taught us anything. You really got to live when you get the opportunity, you know? So, yeah. Also, there was another part where Joe's talking to Dorothea, played by Angela Bassett, by the way. Come on now, their names don't stop. That's how you know Disney got bank, you know? They're pulling out stars from everywhere. But anyway, played by Angela Bassett, Joe says to Dorothea outside club, all my life I've been waiting for this. I just thought I'd feel different. And Dorothea says, a fish says to the older fish, hey, how do I get to the ocean? The older fish says, this is the ocean. The young fish says, nah, man, this is just water. I want to get to the ocean. Then the older fish says, you in it. Come on now. I don't know if I can even break that down because I don't know if I fully get it. But that just seems deep. So that's big to me. Moonwind, talking about the zone, so that space in between the spiritual realm and your body. The zone is good, but when you become obsessed, you can lose your connection to your body and become untethered. Whoa. I mean, there's just so much deepness in this movie. It's amazing that it still managed to be fun. You know what I mean? It's a lot, man. And I gotta say, I'm a fan of Graham Norton, right? So I recognized his voice instantly playing Moonwind, and I also watched Father Ted back in the day. I don't know if anyone else watched. If you watch Father Ted, you know what I'm talking about. But Graham Norton acting, I missed it, man. He's hilarious. He's good. He's good at what he does, and you know what I mean. I loved him as Moonwind. I thought it was great. Another great quote was Joe when he said, "I'm just afraid that if I died today, my life would have amounted to nothing." How many of us feel like that sometimes? You know, this is when he was talking to his mum, when he had that conversation with his mum. But yeah, man, like I say, it's just deep. And another one of my favorite quotes, little light, number 22, "I'm jazzing." I think I'm just gonna say that now when I'm having a good time. I'll just be like, "I'm jazzing," and you know, jazz musos will probably punch me in the face, but it will be worth it, maybe. But no, I found that funny. I thought it was good. All right, so a few notes, notable moments. That version of the Disney opening credits where it was played, you know, sort of as if it was played by Joe's class. That was flipping hard to listen to, man. That was honestly, as a singer, as someone who's into music, that many things being off at the same time. Oh my days! This is why I'm like, I don't think I could ever teach. You know, but the little that I know, I don't think I could teach because that was a lot of offness and ooh, a lot of flats, a lot of sharps, a lot of. At the point I was like, what is this? What are they doing? So, but it took me right back as well to when you know we're in school and like the teacher just gets out all the instruments and all the kids just rush the instruments and they was playing at the same time. There's no harmony to it. It's just noise. It just reminded me of that. I love that Richard Ayoade is one of the Jerrys. Again, star power. Maybe not considered as big a star as everyone else, but listen, Richard Ayoade, flipping hilarious. He's the most purposefully awkward guy, which is just part of the genius of, you know, how funny he is. And if you watch IT Crowd, if you know Richard Ayoade, he is just funny. So I really enjoyed that. That zone that Moonwood was talking about, that sure had a lot of musicians in it. I'm just saying, we might need to, keep zoning, man, but just don't get lost. I bet a lot of those lost souls are addicts as well. Because I was thinking about this, I was thinking like, lost souls in this world, in the world of soul. Yeah, man, I guess it kind of stems down to addiction in a way, to getting obsessed over that thing, that zone, and disconnected from your soul. You know, if you've ever been addicted to anything, you know that, you know, nothing else around you really seems to matter, or that you take notice of it. So, yeah, that got pretty deep. 22 got deep in the barbershop. You know, I guess it's deep all over the movie, but there you go. Like I said earlier, Graham Norton, he just killed it as Moonwind. I loved it, man. It was good. Also, damn it, Pixar. So many things in my eyes. Like I said, it almost broke me. I didn't quite break, but it almost got me. There were a lot of things. A lot of people cutting onions when I was watching that movie. Just saying. Rachel House was great as well. She played Terry. Rachel House, if you don't know, was in a couple of Taika Waititi movies. She was in Thor Ragnarok. She played Grandmaster's right hand woman. Jeff Goldblum's character, and she killed it, man. She killed it as Terry. I've got to say, just give a shout out. There's something about people from that side of the world, man. You know, like New Zealand, Australia. They just have great comic, and of course, you know, other abilities, but they just have great comic ability. You know, like your Taika Waititi's, Auntie Donna, Adam Hills, you know, from The Last Leg. I just mean, there's just a certain kind of comedy they have over there that's just like, you know, it's great, man. A couple more notes. Just got to take a moment to acknowledge, once again, just how incredibly talented Jamie Foxx is. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, this guy, comedy on lock, right? Music, man's got it on lock. He can do impressions. He can act, obviously. And, you know, he can act seriously. He can act funny. He can be the side guy. He can be the lead. This guy's got it all, man. Come on. Don't tell anyone got anything to say about Jamie Foxx, right? Yeah. Solid guy in terms of his talent. I know him personally. He seems pretty solid as well. If you saw, you know, over the whole pandemic and that, with what happened to George Floyd, and the way this guy stepped up. Yeah, it was big, man. To me, anyway, it just seemed big. So, shout out to Jamie Foxx once again. And actually, on this movie, I was watching a lot of the extras. If you got Disney Plus, which is probably one of the only ways you're going to be able to watch this anyway, I just recommend checking out the extras. It's really interesting. Just a bit of sort of trivia. I've got my little geeky emoji going on here. So for this movie, Pixar actually had a cultural trust. So this cultural trust is just built up of people that, relate to the culture of the people being, that the story is being told about in this movie. So obviously black people, African Americans in this instance, and, jazz enthusiasts, musicians, they were just there to make sure that the representation of the story and the characters were true to life. This, or something like this, I think, should be mandatory for every film, especially films which aren't basically white. Because let's be honest, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we know every white story, but we know most white stories. There's not a story that we see on the screen most times and be like, wait a minute, a white person wouldn't do that. I've never said it in my life. maybe I've said a white person shouldn't do that, but I definitely never said a white person wouldn't do that. What I'm saying is, if you're bringing stuff to screen and you're trying to make it realistic or whatever, then just involve the culture that you are trying to show if you're not of that culture. And sometimes, even if you are, just to get a different perspective on that, if needed, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, so that's my thoughts and soul. Check it out if you haven't seen it. That's the show. That's the whole first episode. Gave it a go. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Could be more to come. Like I say, if there's anything you liked or didn't like, let me know in the comments. Anything I can improve on. Anything you'd like to hear more of. Anything you'd like me to review next or whatever, something like that. Just let me know. And I'll see what I can do. Hopefully there'll be more of these. I will be releasing my reviews in reading format still, so you can scroll through if you want to, because I'm very aware for some reason I can't talk today. But no, also it just depends what you like. Let me know what you like more. Do you like this or do you prefer reading it? Let me know. Hopefully it wasn't too long and it wasn't enjoyable. Anyway, catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed it. God bless and all the rest. That was The Real View Show. Remember to follow @Myles Reviews, that's Myles with a Y, on Instagram and Facebook for more reviews, movies, TV and music stuff.